Okay, this is the prototype that we have so far for Oblivescence. For context, your objective is to collect color in the world. So naturally, the world actually looks like this. It's in black and white, so that's what the players will jump right into. And your objective is to kind of collect objects like this bottle right here, and it'll tell a story.
Dad asked me to get him another drink. I didn't like how it made him mean. I didn't want to help.
So once that story has been told, basically a little snippet of her memories, you can decide to collect the object or not. So for this example, we decided to collect it. And as you can see, the icon moved to the bottom right, and that's your inventory. And you can see there are two other circles, so basically space for players to collect more objects. And coming up right here, this is the out of bounds, so this fade to black. This is essentially foreshadowing for the players that Kira is frail and actually about to die. We're going to include an ECG heartbeat sound as well, but that's just foreshadowing for the player that Kira in real time is actually really old. And right here is an example of the moral challenge. So this is at the very end of the level once you collect your objects. So for example, like the bottle, there's other options like a towel and a pair of shoes, and basically once you collect your 3 objects, it triggers this moral challenge, which is this main moment that happened in Kira's childhood that triggered this traumatic event, which allowed her to see the world in black and white and not in color. So this is basically just a conversation between this spirit animal of a bear, which has this attribute of bravery. Its soul is corresponded to bravery. So this is a moment where Kira is trying to be brave and kind of reliving this moment with the hopes for the player to change the outcome and make it the best possible and hopefully collect color. So yeah, as you can read through this text, it's basically just reliving this moment, and it gives the players the opportunity to respond to this option. As you can see, the bear's asking, how were you brave? What did you do? And based off of the objects that you choose, it corresponds to a response. So for this example, since we have the bottle, it gives us the option to fight back.
In the corner. I knew that somewhere deep inside of that being of yours, you were brave. You stopped him. You did the right thing.
And then once you collect the right object and the right response, you basically get color. And the color varies depending on the response that you do. So some responses are better than others, and that basically corresponds to a different percentage of color due to the fact that not all responses are always the right thing to do, and maybe one response isn't an act of bravery, but you thought it was. And yeah, it's basically just applying color to, or applying the color green to the space. But it's also important to keep in mind here that the tree trunks and some other objects in this scene aren't colorful, and that's for a reason, because this level is only focused on the color green and the attribute of bravery. So in future levels, there will be different colors that will be added to the scene. So this is just an example of the first level. I find that this is actually very similar to the game Gree, where color is slowly applied to the scene. In my game, it's a little bit different, but I think the main idea is kind of similar to that game. It also reminds me of the game The First Tree, this idea of an open landscape giving the player an opportunity to roam and feel free and kind of be one with the space. So this is also another reference that I would like to bring up and just think about when, looking at what I've done so far and what I've worked on with my programmer, Jerry, and kind of the future steps of the game. And of course, we're going to add voiceovers and add different mechanics, such as a UI filter for a color wheel, basically indicating for the player how much color they're actually absorbing. But this is just a small prototype. And yeah, thank you for watching.